Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone, and today I'm just making another video that is not tarot related, but it is about a stone. And so yeah, I know quite a few of my videos have been are being are centered around stones and stuff like that. um I don't know, that's just what I've just been guided to talk about. And I think especially because these are videos that I've been saying for the longest time, even before I was gonna do, and I never did. And so I'm trying to be a person of my word and make these videos, even though they should have been made ages ago. So another story I said I was going to tell you guys ages ago was about my past life experience with a stone, um with a very ordinary stone. It wasn't a crystal that I purchased or anything like that. It was like a really ordinary stone that you literally just pick up from the floor. And yet it was so powerful that it was able to communicate some really interesting information to me about a past life that I had spent in a different country. And the reason why this story to me is it's fascinating to me. I don't know how fascinating it would be to you guys, but it's because it was something that I had never experienced before. And sometimes when it comes to connecting with past lives, there's different ways that you can do it. I think that it's interesting because I think that we can connect with past lives in so many different ways, but sometimes we don't even need to make an effort to connect. Sometimes we just get flashes of images from past lives. I've definitely experienced that. um I remember I got a flash of an image of me being in this beautiful field, and it was full of grass and there was some kids playing. And I knew, when I got that flash, I knew that I wasn't me, the person that I am. I was there, but not in this body, in a different body. I was there. And I knew for some reason, even in that flash, that I wasn't female. I wasn't a black person. I was a white person, and I was male. And then later on, which is interesting, is I did a past life regression, and then I got more information about that life and who I was and stuff like that, and that was really fascinating. And I've basically connected with three lives, where I knew who I was, where I was, and all this other stuff. And I think it's really interesting doing past life work because of the fact that it really helps you to kind of understand things that you go through in this life. Because a lot of the time there'll be trends like that happen, things that have been with you because of, karmic connections and things that you take with you throughout your lives. And so and sometimes even when you are going through difficulties in this life, past life can actually help you to understand those difficulties and challenges that you're experiencing right now. So, but I would say do kind of be careful with past life regression work. There are some uh there can be some issues when you do it. I'm not saying this to scare anyone from doing it, but I would just say research it before attempting doing it. That's the best thing to do. Research it before doing any kind of past life regression work, and really make sure that you're comfortable in doing it, because sometimes things can come through that you may not have wanted to come up and stuff like that. So it's something that you have to know that there are some issues with it before getting into it. Basically, I think that's the best way to do things, and that's definitely the way that I am. I always research things before I put myself up for anything, because I want to know what can potentially happen. So yeah, I'm gonna stop waffling because this story can take quite some time and I don't want it to get too long. So basically how this whole experience happened, where I found this stone and it connected me with a past life, and I had no intention of being connected with a past life at that moment in time. It just happened, and it was a really eye-opening experience. As you can see, my eyes are wide open. So it first started with this book, and this book is called Higher in the Heavens. by Jean Slater, and it's a practical guide to developing working relationships with spirits of creation. This book has nothing at all to do with past lives. But what it does have to do with is it is a book where you can have your angels help you manifest something that you want. So what I did is I used this book last year to manifest a trip. Now I heard about this book through Ayala Van Sank, because she had used it and she was talking about it, and I think Ayala Van Sank is amazing. So I decided to see what it's about. Plus, it's a really small and thin book. There's not much to it at all, and so you can easily read it very quickly. But what I would say is, if you're looking for something that is very different to The Secret and all those other kind of books, then you won't bother with this, because a lot of the steps are very much the same as that which you learn like from The Secret and stuff. The only difference is this one is obviously centered around angels and isn't as in depth as some of those other books. So but I used it anyway, and boy, it worked, because I said to myself last year that I was going to go on a trip. And so I went to Tenerife. And what I did is I literally left everything up to the angels. I let the angels guide me to where to visit, the hotel, the flight, everything. So basically I'm just going by my feelings, what I think, whatever. Because another thing that I found is, I did try and do the practical things that some people would do on holiday, which is, research hotels and all this other stuff. I did some of that stuff, but then even then I became stuck, because I was like, after reading all these reviews and things, I didn't know which one to choose. So in the end I was just like, okay, I'll pick maybe like 3 hotels, and then I would just let the angels guide me to which one of the 3 is the best one. And I think the angels did a great job, because the hotel was amazing. The hotel was amazing, the flight was amazing, everything sailed through perfectly. I think the only hiccup there was when we came back and we were on the airport and we had to wait like ages for the cab that I booked before I left to arrive. Like, that was the only issue, but everything else was totally great. We had an amazing time. So it did work. And what was crazy is that I did expect to have a good time, but I didn't expect to be connected with a past life, because it seems that what the angels arranged was more than a holiday, but they sent us, me and my son, to somewhere that we had been before in a past life, where we had lived before. And how it all came about is, when we were on our flight going there and we were over the island, I saw the volcanoes, and I had heard, from doing a bit of research on Tenerife, about the volcanoes and stuff. And at the time I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. But when I saw it, like, I was like, because it's called Teide. When we passed Teide, I was like, I have to go there. I have to be there. I don't know what it is, but we have to go to this place. And to me, it was more than just a fascination. It was like this pull to go there. And so we got off the plane. We had a great time, like the couple of days, and then I went to them little excursion stands where you can speak to the people and arrange all these different trips around the island. And so I bought a number of like excursion trips tickets and things from them, but the one that was most important to me was one that was going to take us to that volcano. And I think we missed one of the days, because one day when they were doing the trip, I think that was the day that we were landing, so we obviously couldn't make it that day. And it was the full day going there, but they didn't have another full day trip. They had a half day trip, and so I was a bit like, oh, that's a bit sad. We're not going to be there for the full day, but I was just so keen to go. And I was like, oh, I'll take it. Like, I just need to go there. So Thursday comes around. That's the day we have to go, and yeah, we had an amazing time. It was quite a drive. We saw so many things on the way, and we ended up at the national park, and that was really nice. It has like all these different plants and things that are quite rare and stuff, and then they had this beautiful little shop, and I felt so that I didn't I left like quite a bit of money and things like back in the hotel, like not all, but I just had a sum of money on me, but I would wanted more because they had such great stuff in that shop. They had crystals and all this other stuff. I bought some crystals, but there was some like jewelry ones that I really liked, and I was like, oh, I don't have enough money on me. but, um but it was I was like, I have to go there again, and I have to definitely go to that shop again and carry some more money on me, because they had some really great stuff in there, especially if you're like kind of mystical, because the crystals and things were lovely. Um, oh, I've gone off track. Okay. Yeah. So we get to the volcano, and it's an amazing sight. And I would put pictures, but the editing, I'm still trying to learn this editing software I have. It's kind of it's different to the one I had before. But yeah. So we get to the volcano, and we have a good time there. But then as we're about to leave, I said to my son before we go whether he could get this rock for me. I couldn't get it myself because I had sandals on and my feet was getting quite dusty. Like it was so stupid for me to wear sandals that day. But I did, and he was wearing trainers. So I said, I pointed at a stone and I said, "Can you get that for me?" And he went and he got it, and I put it in my bag. And then, interestingly enough, we had a great time on the trip. We went home and everything. The rock was still like in my bag. And then when I was like taking all my stuff out to, wash clothes and everything from the trip and go through my bag, I took this stone. And this was the stone that my son got for me. And I took it out of my bag. And I just held it. I held it not with any intention to get anything from it. It was just a case of me just trying to take it out of the bag. And as soon as I held it, I just felt this energy come from it. And all of a sudden, I had all these memories, all these recollections. And it was weird because it felt almost like it wasn't that I was seeing it all visually, but it was more that it was like an inner knowing. Like I just knew these things. Like it almost felt like the stone was like talking to me, and I was like hearing all the stuff it was saying, and it was like telling me who I was in the past life. Like that I practiced like rituals, that I was like a high priestess, like I did rituals and things. And the people that were there, it's almost like we were there like during like tribal times, and the time when I was there was um before the influence of Christianity and stuff came to the island, because we all know about what happened in history and how Christianity ended up spreading and stuff. And so it was like I was basically a part of those people that basically well, kind of what you would, I guess, would understand to be like pagans. Like they worshipped, the gods that were within the volcanoes, and they used to do rituals and give sacrifices, but not but these. But when I did research, actually later on, after the stone told me all this about those people that were there, they're called the Goichi people. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but but they are very like they obviously, like some other tribes, they used to make pottery and things. They used to give these like pottery and things as sacrifices and things to the gods of the volcanoes and stuff like that. And it just started telling me all these things, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like it it sort of helped me to understand why I felt so drawn to those volcanoes, for one, why I needed to go there. And it's all, and you know what was so beautiful that was another message that came from the stone, which I think more than anything, like it told me a lot of stuff and I wrote it all down. I can't be able to read it all because it'll be like this video will get really long. But one thing that it said that was really amazing to me was that the land that we were standing on was blessed by the prayers of those people. So it's a sacred land because of the rituals and the prayers of the people that were there before, all this stuff happened with the Christianity and stuff. And then it made a lot of sense to me, because at the bottom of the volcano is a statue of Jesus Christ that looks very similar to the one that is in Rio de Janeiro, the massive one that is there. But their one is like a smaller version. And it made sense to me afterwards that that was there. At the time it didn't make sense, because I was be like, that's a weird place to have like a a statue like that. But then when I thought about it, it made sense, because those Christian people that came to basically convert the original people of the island of Tenerife to Christianity, obviously they wouldn't have wanted them to continue on those kind of practices. And so what it is because they would have understood how sacred that volcano lake and everything is to them. Obviously they would have wanted to influence it to adapt it to their own Christian beliefs. And so it's no surprise that those people decided to put that statue there, because I think, a lot of the time, I honestly believe that a lot of Christian ministers, particularly, I believe that they do understand, a lot of them do understand the power of even these other belief systems. They understand the power of it. And I think that that's the reason why they decided to place that statue there, because they knew from before that this was a sacred place. And I think also they did it as an influence onto those people, so that if they were going to go there and worship like they were used to doing, instead of worshiping I guess the god of the volcanoes, they were going to worship like this Jesus Christ statue that was there. But it seems that even that land that is there, it's very magical and it's very sacred. And it was so interesting the way he said it, like, though this land is like washed with the prayers of the people that were here before you, and you was here as a person saying these prayers with these people. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was really like wow to me. And so yeah, and all of this information came from this little stone. And the message was very warm. It was very much trying to guide me in this life. It told me things like, because of telling me like my magical gifts then, it was basically saying that you have them same magical gifts now, and you can use them now in this life, and you can do those things that you were doing before. And it was just amazing. And I feel like there's so many different connections that I've had in my life, not only this experience but other experiences that have shown me my life purpose, and have shown me what it is that I'm here to do for people. And I would say those magical experiences have meant so much to me. Because I think even in the times when things can be rough, those experiences have definitely been able to see me through, and to keep me going in the direction that I need to go in, which is great. That trip was so magical. I mean, even when we went to the we went to one of the parks that they have, that is like, it's like a zoo. And it was great, and it had, which was so funny, it had lions. It had the white lion, a rare white lion, which I was like, wow, imagine me and lions. Obviously any kind of magical trip with me would have some lions, and it was amazing seeing them, the rare ones, and as well as it had like different types. And even the book that I got from them has a lion on it, the book that I bought at the park. And also in this book is where I wrote about my experience with the stone, but it's so many pages. Like, I wrote everything, all the messages that I got from this stone in here, and it's just tons. So yes, I would say it's worth doing. If you want to manifest something, I would recommend trying out. That's the wrong way. Trying out this book and seeing where it leads you, because it seems that it can lead you to some fascinating places, because it definitely led me led me to Tenerife, where I discovered so much about myself. It just was amazing, and it all happened from my angels. So yeah, I'm definitely going to use this book again. I haven't used it in quite some time actually. But I definitely have some things I want to manifest, so I'll be pulling that out and using it. So okay, I'll see you guys. Bye.